Okay, let's go ahead. I have some questions to ask, but then we'll open up to the audience. Go ahead and introduce yourself all the way on stage right, your name and what film you're representing. Please, Sarah.
My name is Sarah Smith, and I directed De-Aging.
And Sarah, we apologize for the restart. There was a little technical difficulties, but we really enjoyed the film. Let's open up to the, actually go ahead and introduce your cast and crew that are around you.
This is Melanie, and she was the casting director. And this is Sari Lennox, and she was the teacher, Miss Hartnett.
And let's open up the audience for questions. Raise your hand and Pranav will run up to you. We'll do just 2 quick questions each film. I have a few too, if there's no questions out there. Don't forget to pull off your tabs.
Okay. The question is for the De-Asian. What I really loved about it, I wonder if there was intention for the film, was that the subtle, like the crush that the kid had for the Asian kid, was that always part of the story? Was that like, what was the process when it came to writing the story for this?
Yeah, it's actually a true story. My writing partner, Philip Gutman, this is basically his story. And yes, he did have a crush on that boy, and it was important to me that we not overplay it, that we kind of let the audience come to it. So whether it's his friendship with the girls in the class, or whether it's his crush on the boy, either one really is driving his decision to choose De-Asian. And it's also, I think, a confusing time when you're a kid to kind of figure out what's important to you, and you don't always express it directly. It often gets expressed really in sort of a sideways way, so that was also kind of an inspiration for the film.
Great answer. One more quick question, everybody. Any challenges with the cast of kid actors in the classroom setting? Maybe our teacher can answer that?
Yeah, I'll let Melanie speak to how she found the cast,
yes,
which was fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
At the time, I had just finished casting the pilot for Fresh Off the Boat, so it was fresh in my head, all these kids. We didn't have girls in that pilot, but just from working casting in general, I knew a bunch of good ones to get really quick, and had some auditions, banged it out.
Yeah, that was it. They were great, really, really cool kids to work with, super professional, and actually Daniel is a lot older than he looks, but really, really lovely. It was a good group.
Can we say how young or old is he?
He's 15.
Oh, wow, all right. Yeah.
So when I asked them to
Oh, use the mic just for our audience. Thanks, Sarah.
when I asked them, I wanted them to get into character, so I said, please make a nameplate, because that's what I did in elementary school. And and they kind of looked at me, I was like, like you did in elementary school. He's like, I'm in high school. It's like, that was shocking. But this man looks very young for his age, and he did a great job.
Let's give a hand for De-Asian, everybody. Nominated comedy, script, and editing. Cast and crew, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mallory Ortega. I'm the director of Mango Sticky Rice. This is my lovely composer, Diana Cha, and my awesome producer, David Liu. And behind me, I have Christopher Park, George Tsai, Jenny Su, and Mina Sun.
Questions from the audience?
How did you come up with the idea for that?
Just for audio, how did you come up for the idea of this?
Well, this film is actually was produced in a class, and it's like a really long process of even being greenlit. And so, long story short, one of my friends wrote this script, and it was in a large pool of scripts to choose from as a director. And so, when I read it, it was at first not a musical, and when I read it, I just I feel like this has music in it. There's something in there. And so when I pitched it to her, I was like, hey, Naomi, what about making this into a musical? She's like, absolutely, let's do it. Never done it. Let's do it. I'm like, okay, great. And I just, everyone was just on board with it. And it was something that a lot of us hasn't done you know, and we're just like super excited about the experience and learning from it. So.
Thank you. One more quick question.
You sort of already answered my question, but kind of just rolling off of that, what specifically was it that when you were reading the script made you want to make it into a musical?
I think it was just, you know, how I felt at the end of the first read. I just felt really warm about it, and thinking about it more and reading it again, I was like, yeah, I think this is a piece where the characters really want to say more that they can't. And I think I love musicals, and what I love about musicals is that they're just free to express whatever they want, and that's why we love these characters so much more, and that's why we listen to the music over and over again, because they get to sing how they feel, and if you do that in real life, everyone thinks you're weird, and so I was just like, I want this to happen, you know, and so that's kind of like where it went. It was just like, it had a really, really great feeling at the end, and I thought, I just want to share this with music.
Let's give Mango Sticky Rides our musical round of applause. Let's meet the next film and cast.
Hi there, I'm David No from Battle of Wills.
And let's have questions from the audience.
I knew I could count on you.
I really enjoyed the title, especially the play on words, the Battle of Wills. In regards to your inspiration, like I felt like I saw a little bit of like Old Boy, I saw The Devil, maybe a little Fight Club. I was just wondering what in particular like so you were looking for or inspired by.
To be honest, I wrote this like several years ago, and kind of woke up 4 o'clock in the morning with an idea, wrote it down, put it in my computer, left it there for until a couple of years ago, and then I pulled it out. I wanted to make something. I was sort of playing around with visual effects, and I wanted to make something with Korean language because I've been living in Seoul, South Korea, and I thought that would be the kind of a nice bookend to my little journey over there to make something in Korean language. So yeah, it was just an idea to, you know, have a play with. You know, I was going to do something just on a DSLR in the studio with a friend, and then it just kind of grew.
Oh, the movie was great, and it looked really, it was very visually appealing. I was wondering, were there any like technical difficulties in regards to being on screen, like for those two characters?
It's a highly complicated process. Obviously, I have to play both characters, change wardrobe, change makeup, everything, and often not move the camera. So I'd have to shoot a plate in one character, change character, shoot the other plate, and then move the camera again. But again, I tried to make the camera work in the film very organic. There's sort of shift focus, there's cameras moving around. It feels like there are two people in the room, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely did. Thank you very much.
Battle of Wills, everybody. Nominated Best Horror Thriller.
To share something that happened to me yesterday, actually. I ran into a first AD. I think this is very sort of relevant for today. I ran into a first AD I worked with overseas, and he's a little white guy named Chuck. And he's like, Dave, what have you been doing? I said, yeah, I'm over here. I'm doing a film festival right now. Yeah. Oh, what is it? Asians on film. That sounds really interesting. It's like, wouldn't that just be full of like, Asian stereotypes? And I was like, wow. I was kind of really like, oh, wow. Actually, at an Asian film festival, that is the one place where you don't see Asian stereotypes. It's like, it made me realize that there's still a lot of ignorance in the film industry, I guess. And it made me also appreciate how important something like this is. So, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Asians on Film.
Absolutely, David. That's been a reoccurring tone in every Q&A. Let's meet our next film cast and crew.
Hi, I'm Lulu Wong. I'm the writer and director of Touch, and this is Cece Lau. This is Cicely Lau, who played the mother.
I found it to be very, very accurate with Chinese mannerisms, the awkward hug, and that was what I really appreciated because you really captured it. And you mentioned this is a true story. Can you elaborate on that quickly?
Yeah, my father works as a translator, interpreter. He has like an agency, and he's had several cases very similar to this story come. I think he said 3 so far in his career, and having done this festival route. So the short film was based on a combination of those 3 stories, and then as I was doing the festival route, a lot of people from different cultures would come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm Persian, and my culture, it's no big deal. I have a son all the time, touch." And so it's just been interesting to hear from different cultures that, where this it's common, but in America it's a taboo subject.
Absolutely. Question from the audience. Or even filmmakers and cast and crew can ask as well.
Did you have a chance to interview the original family, or was it more based on your archival research?
Great question.
Well, my father did the case, the primary case that this was based on. My father was the one that he was interviewing him more for court, because he was with him for several years to help him fight the case. And that particular case, he did plead guilty. All of that is true, but ultimately the case got dismissed because he almost got deported, and because he wasn't a citizen. But his wife and his kid were citizens, and so my dad really helped step up to the plate, and there was a new judge that was assigned, and he told my dad. The man told my dad this personal story about what happened to him and the circumcision and everything. And my father was like, "We have to tell the judge." He was like, "They'll never understand." And so my dad ultimately pushed him to tell the judge, and so he was able to stay in the country.
Let's give Touch a round of applause, folks.
Hi, my name is James Kwan Lee, and I wrote and directed Blacksmiths. So, starting off, Ure Kim produced, Ting Ting Ing produced, and the other actor, Yuki Matsuzaki. Way up there hiding is Joe Fisk, who's one of the locksmiths. And we have Anna Sam Brooks, who's Lydia at the very beginning of the movie.
Well, let's open up to the floor. Questions? Or would you like to add something also?
I'd also like to introduce Shin, who is one of the who's in the art crew, and Phil Bastian, who's VFX, and Teruisa Yoshida, who's the DP.
All right. A big cast and crew in attendance.
Hi, so what was your thought process behind your decision to include all of the more violent scenes? Because usually people would cut scene or it's just implied, but that caught me off guard somewhat. But it was cool. So.
Thank you. Well, I've said this a lot, so my crew are probably like, But my inspiration from this film came when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I spent 2 days building this bike I ordered from Amazon, and the next day someone stole it. And I got so mad, and the cops didn't do anything, so I wrote a story about the robbers meeting an untimely death, but the goal was to try to write them in a way where we can empathize with them. So that was the challenge. And the violence is a byproduct of that.
One more question.
Yeah, I really love the overall dark tone of it. I was just wondering, what are some film influences that you've had that might have helped contribute to this film?
I had a number of influences, but 2 of the main ones is probably Fargo.
Nice.
It kind of balances the thriller comedy and all of Bong Joon-ho's films. He did Mother and Snowpiercer in America, but
nice.
Memories of Murder.
Very nice. Awesome.
Let's go to our next film, cast and crew.
Hi, my name is Pei Guo. My little showpiece is To Die or To Dream. No, it's based on the famous anime one, who is the first Chinese American actress in like 1920s and 30s. So I'm just gonna explain it. It's a show. It's for my feature film project. So I just took one thing from my script and just made it. So you feel like it's no beginning, no ending. So because it's just in the middle of a story.
Thank you so much. Let's have quick questions from the audience, if any.
For the feature film that you're preparing, how are you going about your research and going into the life of the real anime one?
It was a long way. I been follow her like for maybe 5 years now. So I've been because she was popular in 20s and 30s. So there was no videos of her being interviewed. So all I have is like online research, and also all those magazines, like a very old magazines. Yeah, you just the difference is the old magazines you feel like a real person. You know the old style writing. So it's kind of like help me find out who the person she was. So you can feel the care. She was being no, I don't know how to explain. No, I'm so sorry. Anyway, this is like it's a lot of research, and you just keep I don't know how to. It's very hard to represent a person from the history, but somehow I think it's the spirit is connected. So I try to get it part, and I just try to do from my point of view to present this person. I'm sure everybody has a different image of her, but it's gonna be my vision.
Let's give a round of applause, everybody.
Hello everyone, my name is Wei, and I'm the director of the animated film Run Crop Run. And that was my first film made in college.
Great job. I thought everything was very endearing. Every scene was cute, whimsical, but also touched us. The steam bath was cute when including the crab dressing his own plate. Just things like that. The kitchen door had good texture of your animation. I felt every scene was very, very fun and endearing to watch.
Thank you.
Let's open up to the audience for some quick questions.
Yeah, I mean, I know how tough animation is. So, was there any stuff like in your initial vision of the story that you maybe had to sacrifice or not be able to do, like when you're putting it to animation?
Yeah, actually the whole story it comes a long way. Yeah, it's based on the story between me and my father, but honestly it's way too dark. But it also has a good ending. But me and my professor, we have a discussion, so we decided to pick just the one segment of it and interpret it through the two crafts. Yeah, it's about sacrificing.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to our next filmmaker. Our final filmmaker. Remember, turn in your tabs into the aisles and we'll collect it for you. And we do have to quickly move on, but they'll be available for questions. Our after party is at the far bar, so we can ask them all we want. And let's go to our final filmmaker.
I'll be at the after party if you want to grab drinks. You know, it's been a long week. My name is Steven. I'm the director of Coming Home.
One question, one final quick question from the audience.
No pressure. Alice, you stayed.
So I really loved the cinematography and the lighting, and I felt like you really did a nice job capturing or that was in Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
So I just really, I felt that, just kind of like the vibe of it. And I guess my question is, how did you get the characters? I really felt their energy, and it felt very believable, and I just kind of felt their pain. So how did you like bring that out in them and that passion as a director?
Yeah, that's a good question. So both of my leads were non-actors. So it was a lot of, I'm a firm believer of rehearsals. So just lots of rehearsals, improving. I think that the script is really just a blueprint, and it's a living, breathing kind of document. And so I gave the actors agency in the rehearsal process to make a roof for themselves, and I think that we all felt it when it was there. And we used that. We used that in the actual shoot. So it was just this organic process. I hope, does that answer your question?
All right, let's give all the filmmakers a humongous round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, stay right where you are. We're going to do a quick transition for our award ceremony. Let's give another hand as they exit and head up to the seats. Far Bar is our after party, but we're going to